Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Lacy Bay Designs. On this tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to make this beautiful waist goddess dress for a 2-year-old girl. So let's get started. These are the materials I'll be using for the tutorials: a ruler, tape measure, tailor's chalk, a zip, a plain fabric for lining, and then lace fabric for the hem, and then my African fabric. The bust measurement for my 2-year-old girl is bust 22 inches. So bust 22 inches divided by 4 will give me 5.5 plus 2 inches as my sewing allowance, making 7.5. So I folded in the fabric and then indicated my 7.5. Okay, so as you can see, 7.5 from shoulder to the waist is 9 inches, but I added seam allowance, make it 10 inches. So I marked 10 inches and then marked another 10 inches at the other side and then connected it with my ruler. So the width and then the width of the neckline is 2 3/4, sorry. So it's more than 2.5, so it's 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. I then drew the curve, and then the shoulder length is 3 inches. Allowance has been added, so I marked out 3 inches and then brought the tape measure from where the shoulder line ends, brought it down 6 inches. It's actually 5.5, but because I'll be sloping the shoulder by half an inch, so I marked out 6 inches and then draw my armhole curve. So I will cut out the front and then cut the back as well. Before cutting the back, I'll leave zip allowance 1.5 or 1 inch at the back of the top. So I'll then cut it out and then cut the neckline. So for the back neckline, I measured 1.5 from the top down was 1.5 and then cut it out. But for the front neckline is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Okay, so I'm cutting out and then the front as well. Afterwards, I will slope the shoulder line by half an inch and then cut my armhole curve. Okay, so because it's sleeveless top, I'll then curve the armhole a bit. I'll then bring it in by half an inch. I'll curve it a bit and then cut out. Great, so this is all I'll be having for the front and then the back. I'll then divide the back into 2. Then go ahead and then cut the skirt part. So I'm about to cut the skirt part. Dress length is actually 22 inches minus 9 inches. That's from shoulder to waist, 9 inches, remaining 13 inches. 13 inches, and then the lace is actually 3 inches. So I'll take the 3 inches from the skirt, then I'll be left with 10 inches. 10 inches plus 2 inches sewing allowance, making 12 inches. So as you can see, I marked out 12 inches. Okay, so this is what I have. I have 2 pieces. I'll then go ahead and join the middle. The next thing to do is to go ahead and then cut out the bow tie for the band. So the length is 5.5 and then the width is 5 inches. I then marked out and then cut out. So after cutting the bow tie, the next thing to do is to cut out a long strip, the width of about 2 inches. So I marked out 2 inches. I marked out 2 inches and then join the points with my ruler and then cut out. So as you can see, I have marked out and I'm cutting out. And then the length is about 30.5 inches. Great, so I'll be cutting the hairband or the bow tie on a foamy material like scuba fabric, just to pad it or make it heavy, so that if I fold in my pleats, it will come out so nice. I'll go ahead and sew all round and then leave where I placed on fold. So as you can see, I placed one on fold, so I'll be sewing down the part that wasn't on fold, and then for the long strip I'll fold it into two and then sew about 1/4 inch all along and secure one side to enable me turn to the right side. So this is the skirt part. After joining the middle of the skirt, I'll then go ahead and then run a gather stitch all along. So this is the top. The next thing to do is to go ahead and then finish the neckline and the armhole with my bias, a white bias. So what I will do is I'll place the bias on the wrong side of my neckline and sew along, and then the same thing at the armhole. Afterwards, I will turn to the right side and top stitch. I'll do the same thing for the back pieces. I'll place the bias onto the wrong side, sew, and then turn to the right side because I want the bias to be showing at the right side. Great. This is what I have after sewing the bias at the wrong side and then turning to the right side. So as you can see, the next thing to do is to go ahead and then pin down the zip line. Afterwards, I will place the front onto the back and shape it according to my client's measurements, like what I'm about to do. Okay, so I place the right side of each facing each other like this, then shape it according to my client's measurements, and then sew the shoulder line 1/2 inch. So this is the skirt part after running the gather stitch. As you can see, I joined the middle and then ran a gather stitch at one side. I will then separate the first thread from the under thread. So I ran a 2 gather stitch on top. So I'll be separating a first thread, the top threads from the down threads. Then I'll pull through to the waist measurement. The waist measurement for my client is 21 inches. Okay, so I'll be pulling the gathers to 21 inches and then add 1 inch at both sides, making 23 inches. So 11.5, 11.5. Great. So this is what I have after pulling to the waist measurements for my client. The next thing to do is to go ahead and then take off the pins from the zip allowance and place it onto the skirt part. So I'll place the right side of the skirt facing me and then place the wrong side of the top onto it. Afterwards, so this is it, I'm notching the center. Afterwards, I'll place the lining pieces onto it to finish the waist area. So this is the lining pieces. I'll go ahead and then place the middle part onto the middle part of the top and then the skirt, and then make sure the side also matches and pleat the excess along. So I'll be pleating along like this. Great. So this is what I have after pleating along. I'll go ahead and then sew 1 inch downwards and then turn to cover the waist part. Okay, so this is what I have after sewing and then taking off my pins. I then turn to cover the waist side. What I will do next is to finish the hem area. I'll fold in 1/2 inch and fold it in another 1/2 inch and then top stitch. I'll then do the same thing for the lining pieces. So I will turn the lining pieces and then fold it in to the wrong side, 1/2 inch and another 1/2 inch and then top stitch. So the next thing to do this is what I have after finishing the hem areas. The next thing to do is to go ahead and then attach my lace fabric. Okay, so what I will do is I'll place the right side of the lace onto the right side of the skirt hem like this, and I'll leave about 2 inches upwards from the hem, sew half an inch downwards, and then turn to the right side like what I have done. This is what I have after sewing and then turning to the right side. I then top stitched as well. So the next thing to do is to go ahead and then sew the back area. After sewing the back area, I'll go ahead and then fix the zip. So this is where the zip ends. I'll then sew the rest down. This is what I have after fixing my zip. The dress is almost ready, or it's ready. The next thing to do is to go ahead and then work on the hairband. So this is it after sewing. I'll then separate the other fabric from the first fabric and then give it a little cut. So I'll turn to the right side. And then also use either broom or something very pointed and then long to turn my strip to the right side. Yes, so this is what I have after turning the long strip to the right side. I'll then cut out where I secured. So the next thing to do is to use my safety pin. I'll then pin one edge of the elastic band and then insert it through the long strip. So after inserting, I make sure that expanding it will give me enough space for my girl. I'll then overlap it like this and then sew down to secure it. After securing, the next thing to do is to go ahead and then fold my band like what I am doing. I'll fold it this way. Okay, and then place the elastic band or the long strip onto it. But sorry, I'll place it at where I made a cut instead. Okay, so after placing the band on it, I then used my small pieces to bind it. I'll go ahead and then hem it. So I'm securing it with a pin, then hem it. So this is what I have. Okay, great. So this is the final look after finishing. Thank you all for watching my videos. See you all in our next video. Bye.